wholesaling worth it? Is it worth the sacrifice, the long days, the embarrassments, the termination, and honestly having to overcome all of the fears that you have? After a decade of doing this, I can honestly say it is. Do I feel like this business is for everybody? No. I don't believe everybody has the necessary mindset and the skills developed to be successful as a wholesaler. But I do think it is a business that is simple enough that everyone can obtain those skills that are needed and the mindset that is needed to succeed. I'll share a story that I haven't shared very often, but it was a couple of years ago. And from the outside looking in, most people probably thought we were a highly successful business. And by most metrics, we were. Deal flow, revenue, gross revenue, our credibility, what we could point back to on what we had accomplished as a business, it was all there. But at the time, we were broke. We had made some mistakes and we had gotten ourselves in a position to where we could not make payroll on a Friday. I had to go to my team, and as most entrepreneurs that face moments like this, you have a couple of different ways that you can handle it. You can tell the truth, you can hide behind it, you can point blame, what I like to refer to as excuse plus a story. Hey, I can't pay you payroll, and here's the reason why. Let me tell you the story. I could have easily done that. However, what I did was I set my team down with Cassie next to me, and I explained to my team not so much about the power of wholesaling and our credibility and what we had done, but really asked them to believe in me and Cassie and who we were as entrepreneurs and what the vision looked like on how we were going to turn our business around. Admit the mistakes. Talk about the failures that we had, what we had learned from them, and how we were not going to replicate that over and over and over again. And because of that, everyone that was sitting in the room said they understood, they were willing to delay their payment, and we were able to turn it around. And now I'm happy to say that up until a couple of months ago, every single one of those people was still on my team. Now, Keaton has left us. He decided to go into business with his wife and go do something else, and I'm more than proud of them, and I'm happy for it. It was on good terms. But every other person that was sitting in that room at that time is still a part of Titanium. And as an entrepreneur, that's one of the proudest moments that I have. And the fact that we were in a bad spot, but we looked at it and we said, this is how collectively as a unit in an organization, we are going to overcome the struggles that we have. And from a leader's perspective, it was highly embarrassing. I did not want to walk out of my office and tell people I don't have $500, I don't have $1,000 to give you, but I legitimately didn't. I didn't have it. And the reason why we didn't have it is because of the choices and the failures that we had had up until that moment. But that being said, those failures that happened yesterday do not dictate what we can do today and tomorrow. And we looked at that and we stared at it point blank and said, we are going to turn this around. We're going to right the ship. We're going to turn this back into what we know we can create. And because of that, now as an organization, we're more tight-knit. We make a lot more money. And we have a lot more fun together. Is it always fun? No. It gets hard. Just a couple of days ago, last Friday, to be perfectly exact, it was awkward. There was many closings that were supposed to be going down. Some of them went down perfectly without any communication whatsoever. Wires were sent to our bank account, and then other ones, there was extensions, there was upset sellers, realtors involved, a chain of events to where even 2-3 transactions after ours where buyers and sellers and realtors were calling us and wanting to know why we weren't performing. Those are what the moments that we sign up for as entrepreneurs. Is it worth those moments? Absolutely. Today alone, we're going to have close to $100,000 wired to our bank account. That moment is a moment that I literally wrote down a decade ago as a yearly goal. I wanted to make $100,000 in a year wholesaling real estate, and now I'm getting that wired to me in a day. Now, is every day like that? No. Friday, there's $10,000 wired and a lot of frustration. Long day. At the end of the night, when I sat down on my couch, I had a massive headache. I was stressed, and very rarely do I get stressed like that, but it happens. For each and every one of you that is wondering right now, should I continue down this path as a wholesaler? You need to have a real conversation with yourself and ask, am I prepared for this to be great and difficult at the same time a decade from now? Because despite the fact that you will develop skill sets, there's always going to be something that comes up in transactions. There's always going to be the need for you to step up and make a decision. The key for long-term success is, are you willing to stand by those decisions when they win and when they lose? See, when I had to go out and talk to my team about the fact that I couldn't pay them their payroll a couple of years ago, I had to stand and sit there and look at my decisions and say, the reason why we are where we are is because of my decisions. Moving forward, if I change those decisions for the better, this is how we will dig ourselves out of that hole. And that's how we were able to do that. Now, as an organization, we have better processes. And because of that, our skills have gotten better. When things happen during transactions, maybe a buyer doesn't have funds the day of closing, maybe there's a title issue, another wholesaler files an unwarranted memorandum on a deal. We have dealt with those situations and we deal with them as they go. The key here is to make sure more wins happen than losses inside of your business. And if you're prepared for those moments, then yes, every aspect of wholesaling is worth it. But if you look at it and say, I don't know if I want to deal with those hard moments, then quite frankly, you need to start questioning, not is wholesaling worth it, but is being an entrepreneur worth it? Because ultimately, this happens in each and every business. The people that win are the ones that are able to look at the difficult times and those difficult decisions and say, this is what I signed up for. The people that don't want to deal with that are the ones that work for people like me that say, RJ, you deal with that. That's what you signed up for as being the boss man. And I welcome it. I don't ever plan on changing. I love those moments because I know those are the moments that allow me to have a $100,000 day. I also know that the days that have $0, that's also the day that I signed up for. And let me be honest with you, as an entrepreneur, I have a lot more days that there's $0 that come in than days where I have $100,000 come in. That's just part of the cash conversion cycle of a wholesaler. Now, many of you are questioning whether or not you can sustain the failure early on to develop the skill sets. And that's frustrating. That's why most people have a job that they're also trying to wholesale and see if they can replace that income. I had a one-on-one with a TU member about 2 months ago. And it was a very interesting one-on-one. It's probably one of the favorite ones I've had so far because he was talking about his previous experience with working with 3 separate hedge funds back in 2020 through 2023. And he acquired millions and millions of dollars worth of real estate. And he was questioning whether or not he could do this on his own because he had success as an acquisitions rep for a hedge fund, but it wasn't quite clicking yet inside of his own wholesaling business. And the funny thing is as we continue to talk, the skills were there. The ability to comp and underwrite and have conversations with sellers are there. He really just needed to have some confidence in himself and his ability to do it without having a boss there to say, this is how you do it. He just really needed to buy into the fact that he was the one that acquired those deals when he worked for the hedge fund, not the hedge fund itself. And very quickly, right after our one-on-one, he started seeing success. And I don't think that there was anything magical that I told this member. I think it was literally just, he told himself that I can do this and I'm going to. He started putting in more reps, a little bit more hours per day. And then the next thing you know, it was closing funded, closing funded. Then it was closing funded for a $40,000 assignment. Now all of a sudden he's approaching six-figure months. I'm super proud of this member because he stuck with it. And when we had our one-on-one, he was on the brink of quitting. Now think about that. How many of you guys are on the brink of quitting right now when really all you need is to have a little bit of confidence in yourself and say, I can do this? The proof of concept is out there with so many different people in this industry. And I say it all the time, our competition is not very good. But if you can focus on what someone that is succeeding, what they're doing day in and day out, and replicate the effort that they're willing to put in, and not give up right at the finish line, you can absolutely create whatever reality you want for yourself. If it's just, I want to do 2 to 3 deals a month, that's easy. If you want to do 6 figures a month, it takes a little bit more work, maybe a little bit of help, but it's not impossible. There's plenty of people out there doing it. So decide, what goals do you have for yourself inside of your business, but also have a real conversation about, am I willing to work at this until I succeed? Or are you always thinking in the back of your head, if it doesn't work soon, I'm going to quit? Because I'll be honest with you, when I stared at my bank account and I realized I didn't have the money to pay my people, there was never a contemplation about quitting. That was never an option. And if you give yourself that option, you'll always be thinking, is this the moment I should quit? Personally, I don't think entrepreneurs quit. I think we just fail and we look at it and say, what's the next move? What's the next solution? If you've got that in you, then yeah, it's worth it. If you don't, you should go work for someone else. Let me know what you think in the comments. Show me some love. Like today's video. We'll see you guys tomorrow.